you know this upcoming guest because for some time we never could really get on the same page. And what changed? Well, this is what changed. She has her own segment on the show. So without any further ado, I'm going to relinquish the reins of At Home with James, and I'm going to pass them on to the host of On the Couch with Carmen. Here is Carmen Rose. On the Couch with Carmen. Carmen, it's so nice to speak to you. It's so nice to see you again. And may I say that your couch is looking wonderful.
Hi, James, and hi, everyone, and welcome to On the Couch with Carmen. Carmen, and this is my couch.
And you still haven't got a microphone. It's a brush, right?
Yes, but it does the trick just fine. Now, here on the Couch with Carmen, we like to pull off the layers and dig deep. Find out more about the man we've all come to love.
Love is strong. Love is a strong word.
James, please let me continue my intro.
Yeah. Sorry.
James McGee. We like to let him lean back, put his feet up, and take a seat on the couch, where the asker becomes the askee.
The asker?
Yes.
You mean the host?
The question asker becomes the askee.
All right.
So please take a seat, James. Cozy up. Put your feet up. Relax. And enjoy.
Is part of your introduction asking me to sit down, relax, and put my feet up twice?
Yes.
Great.
Important. It's very important that I get this point across.
I can tell.
So tonight, everybody, I'm putting my microphone down again. Tonight, we will be talking about matters of the heart.
Okay, so that feels like a pretty seamless transition from what we were just talking about with our first guest, Benji, family man.
Yes. We will discuss romance. And later, we will have what I like to call Carmen's surprise.
Oh, so Carmen. Yeah, great. I think you tried to play something. We couldn't hear it very well, but that's fine.
So I hear you have a second date coming up, James.
What's that?
I said, I hear you have a second date coming up.
I haven't had a first date. I'm not certain that I know what you're talking about.
I believe that you had a first date last night on your 100th episode.
Oh, no, that was a miscommunication. So I suspect you're referring to when Steph Mercier-Voyer popped in and thought that her and I were on a date when, in fact, I just asked her to be on the show. That was more of a miscommunication.
Well, it looked like a date to me. And it sounds like you have a second one coming up this Saturday. Now,
are you referring to Saturday's edition of the show?
Yes.
Of course, when for the first time ever, we all go into the Ruth booth where, I guess begrudgingly on some level, I am going to team up with Steph and we are going to take on another couple and see what we can do in order to win a round of Dr. Ruth's Game of Good Sex hosted by Dave Kaufman, Dr. Dave.
Like I said, a second date.
Right, okay.
So, how do you feel about this second date coming up?
Well, I haven't put any thought about it being a second date because I wasn't under the impression that the first date was a date. So I haven't thought about it as a date.
You sound nervous. It's understandable.
That's a good thing?
Yes. You know, dating is all about becoming more vulnerable.
Oh, I know.
So it sounds like you're on the right path.
Yeah.
You know, James, finding a partner in life is very important. Maybe one of the most important things that we do.
Sure.
So you're on your way. Now, I'd like to know, and I'm sure all the ladies out there would like to know, what are some qualities that you look for in a partner?
Oh, Carmen. I don't know. Nice to be nice. That's always a good thing to be nice. We have a good rapport. We can communicate. free flowing conversation. Um, I don't know. Maybe that's it. That's always a good thing. Thinks I'm funny. Is that a quality to think that I'm funny? It
I
has a
guess
sense of humor. Has a sense of humor.
that's
Sense of humor. Of course. There we go. So they have to be nice. They have to have a sense of humor, otherwise known as think that I'm funny, and we have to be able to have a conversation.
is that all? Is that your only criteria?
Well, I don't know what other criteria would one need.
I don't know, values, morals.
Values? No, I think that people can have different values. I mean, it depends if you're like into atrocities. I would say that it doesn't work. But then again, if you're really nice to me,
So they have to be nice. You have to be able to talk with them and they have to think you're funny.
sense of humor.
Sense of humor. It
They don't have to think. They don't have to think that I'm funny. They don't have to, but it would be a nice treat.
sounds like Stephanie might just be the one for you.
Well, yeah. Let's move on to the next question.
What is your idea for the perfect first date? I want
The
you to
perfect first date. What's my idea? Like, how do you mean? What does the date look like, or what is the activity?
describe your perfect first date.
Probably something low pressure. I would say perhaps maybe having a coffee and a walk or something like that, where we can get like, what's the original one is like, oh, let's go see a movie, but then you can't talk. So it's good to be near each other, but you can't really engage on any level. I would go have dinner, maybe some pastries or something like that. Have a conversation, or now currently get on a Zoom chat.
Right.
Right.
Um, okay, now we're going to go through some do's and don'ts
Right.
of dating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say some things, and I want you, James, to tell me if it is a dating do or a dating don't.
Right. Okay.
Holding the door open.
I mean,
Or
I think that's just a general do in life. I do that for people.
what about paying for the meal?
I think every circumstance is different, but sure, I think that it doesn't have to be necessarily reliant on the male. But I think our social norms have swayed us that way. But I have no problem with that. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay too.
Is chivalry dead, James?
Is chivalry dead? I suppose that's in the eye of the beholder. And that's how is that a do or don't?
Chivalry in general, do or don't?
I would say do. Why not? I don't think it's a bad thing.
Very interesting.
Right.
Discussing exes or dating history.
I would say if I'm not going to bring it up, but if somebody brings it up, I wouldn't be that bothered by it. I would say that I'm pretty low maintenance with things like that. I suppose it would depend on what the conversation is, right? If the person's like, oh, me and my ex used to love coming to this restaurant. And then later on, oh, me and my ex used to live in this area. But if it was just like, oh, yeah, I took a trip to New York in 2010 with an ex, like I suppose I guess it's easier to say probably don't do it. But
Okay.
if you're on a date with me, I do not care that much.
What about discussing your first kiss?
Sure, why not? I don't think that's a problem on a first date. That could be like a cute thing. I've never done it, but if someone were to bring it up, I'd say, okay, well, I guess we're talking about this. As long as it wasn't some type of controversial first kiss.
You heard it here first, folks, on the couch with Carmen. Talk about your first kiss when dating James McGee.
You don't have to, but it doesn't bother me if you do.
A dating do.
It's a dating do, or yeah, sure.
How about making fun of the date?
Yeah, that's a do for me. Yeah. But it's probably a don't for everyone else.
It's good to know. This is all very good information, James. You're
Yeah.
doing great.
Yeah, it's great. Anyone out there, if you're ever going on a date with me, I'm going to make fun of you. There's very little difference between dating me and being in the audience as I host a show.
So, James, would you say that we're all on a date with you here?
Apparently so. Yeah, it's a very platonic date though. It's just a friend date.
I don't know how Stephanie will feel about that.
Well, that's her prerogative.
Hand holding.
That seems strong on a first date, but who am I to say? I've never done it, but if someone held my hand, I'd probably think it was pleasant.
Well, then what about smooching?
Smooching on a first date, it's not for me. But again, if it happens, then what are you going to do? You're going to say if you're feeling the as they say in the romance world, electricity, you know.
So it's a don't unless you do, in which case it's a do.
Yes, yeah, exactly. As astutely put as that, it's a don't unless you do. In that case, do. All of my answers are I don't know. I'm fine either way.
Yes, I'd like to hear some more passionately do or don'ts one way.
Okay, okay, that's true. This is your segment. I'm evading answers.
You are evading. It's because you're nervous for your date on
Yeah,
Saturday.
that's yeah. My date.
Talking about your mother.
Talking, again, it's circumstantial. If someone's constantly talking about their mother on the date, like, oh, me and my mother used to come here, and me and my mother used to live in this area. My mother just died. I really miss my mother. Although maybe that wouldn't bother me that much. I think it would be like a nice, not a nice thing to share, but I would say specifically, probably talking about your parents on a first date is a don't. But if it happens, okay.
And your family.
I think people love talking about their family. I probably wouldn't do it on a date, no.
What about political views? Anything political?
I mean, it's probably not a good idea on a first date and if you're worried that you're going to say something that's going to upset someone, but I think if two people are reasonably minded, you can have a discussion like adults.
Another don't for James. Cooking for someone. Would you cook for someone on the first date?
That's a hard don't for me. I don't even cook for myself on a Wednesday.
Interesting.
That's a strong first date. I think that's strong. Hey, come over and I'll make you macaroni and cheese with hot dogs chopped up into it.
Now,
Mhm. Mhm.
do you have any you would like to add to the dating do's or don'ts?
I would say probably don't come on too strong. That seems like par for the course. Do your best to have open conversation. Do fun things. Yeah, I would say I don't know. It's a first date. I don't think you have to put all your cards on the table. Just be, man. Just be cool, man. But sometimes first dates you can't be cool.
Yes, there's a lot of flipping and flopping going around
Yeah, I
here.
guess I guess what we're understanding is that I don't know about anything. That's why you're hosting the dating segment and I'm on the receiving end of it.
Right. Would you like to know my tips?
I think not only would I like to know them, I'm sure a lot of people would like to know Carmen's dating tips.
Okay, Carmen's dating tip number 1. Always dress for the occasion.
Okay.
What are you planning on wearing this Saturday?
Well, I was thinking something like this, where when I host the show, well, I usually wear something like this, except for special occasions. So probably this, but with a different flannel.
Okay.
Hmm. What do you think?
I think that you could spiff it up a bit. I
Really?
think it's
Okay.
always good to look your best when you're on a first date or
I've gone on first dates wearing basically this.
Hmm. And who are you dating now, James McGee?
No one. Okay, point taken.
Tip number 2, always compliment your date.
Sure. Yeah.
So what compliment will you give Stephanie this Saturday?
Well, this is not a date, but I suppose if it was a compliment, I'd say, "Oh, I'm really happy to see you. I'm so glad that we're doing this together." I think doing this Ruth booth activity is like a really fun way to enjoy each other's company.
Great. Tip number 3, make them feel like they're the only boy or girl in the world.
Yeah, the desperation in your voice as you delivered that tip was something.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
I was saying that the desperation in your voice was really something there. Okay, so make them feel like they're the only one.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna be on a show with 3 other people, so
So you admit that it's a date.
no, I don't admit that it's a date. I'm saying that hypothetically, if it was, I suppose I have no choice but making Steph feel like the only one because we are working in tandem. It's
Very
almost
good.
like couples bowling.
Exactly. Wonder.
Mhm.
I think tip number 4, chivalry is not dead.
Okay,
Chivalry can be done through intersexually. It doesn't matter which gender you are, you can be chivalrous.
sure.
Hold the door. She'll try to hold the door. You'll both try to hold the door. It'll be a cute moment.
Well, there's no doors because we're gonna be on the show.
We're talking dating in general, also,
Okay,
James.
I understand.
And tip number 5, don't forget to take a shower before your date.
That is very good. You want to look your best. Look your freshest as a daisy.
That's right.
Okay, well, I think this is good. How did you feel about my do's and don'ts?
Yes, I think that they're pretty good. I think you could stand to be more certain about your answers,
I
but
guess I'm just an easygoing character.
very good.
Hmm.
James, I think it's time for Carmen's surprise.
Okay, so the classic air horn noise being played off of your phone, I'm assuming. Yeah, Carmen's surprise. So last week you had me perform Carmen's Revenge, which was doing stand up. What does Carmen's surprise have in store for me?
Well, I, in fact, was speaking with Stephanie earlier today,
Okay.
and she would like you to know that she's been studying the Kama Sutra manual,
Oh, that's terrifying.
and she sent you one in the mail. It's in the mail. It should arrive tomorrow. FedEx confirmation number 69. It'll be at your door, and you are all set to go for Saturday.
You're saying that she mailed me samples of the Kama Sutra for an online show that we're doing on Saturday in which we cannot exchange any physical contact.
That's right.
All right. And what was that FedEx number?
69.
69. Great. Well, this was a surprise, Carmen. And I know I usually ask this of Steph, but I feel like since you're here, and certainly this discussion was a lot more based in romance and testing the waters, whereas Steph's is a lot more vulgar. Carmen, do you have any tips for people out there looking for love in these just difficult times?
I think the number one thing remains the same and remains true from regular times or COVID times is just be yourself
Mm-hmm.
and make and enjoy yourselves and be present with the other person.
Be present with the other person. So basically, do the opposite of what I was suggesting and don't wear this outfit.
Don't wear that outfit.
What would you dress me in? What would you suggest?
I thought the outfit you wore for your first date was great.
So you mean yesterday, not the first date, the first show on Twitch.
Yeah,
So blazer with a button down and a tie.
that's right.
Hat or no hat?
No hat.
No hat. That feels like a strong second date option though.
A hat?
Well, no, the outfit,
Yes.
yeah, that feels too much, doesn't it?
For a second date?
Yes.
Yes, I think what you're wearing now is good for a second date.
Okay, great. So avoid this on a first date
Yes.
because you might tip off the person that you're dating that you're constantly aspiring to look like a Tony Hawk pro skater.
That's right.
Okay, well, Carmen, do we have any a bit of a preview of what to expect the next time we're on the couch with Carmen?
Um, we will no, it'll be another one of Carmen's surprises.
Okay, so yep. Yeah, we're live, Carmen. Yeah, oh God. Well, not only will Carmen's surprise be a surprise, but next week's topic will also be a surprise.
But get ready. So thank you everybody for joining us on the couch with Carmen. I am Carmen, you are James, everyone is everyone. And I hope that you all have a great night. Happy dating. I hope your hearts are filled with love and joy. Thank you. Goodbye.
Well, that was Carmen Rose. I was on the couch with Carmen. In case you're confused, no, that was not Delilah from Star 92.9. What an exit, though. That was it. I am Carmen. You are James. We are everyone. I hope your heart is filled with love. What an outro from Carmen Rose.